Hey there. Welcome to Product Marketing Genius. I'm your host, Nitin Karthik. As Director of Product Marketing and a top product marketing voice, I've always found that real world case studies are the true litmus test for the effectiveness of any product marketing strategy. And that is why in this show, we dive into the minds of industry titans as well as rising stars, unpacking their expertise in action packed episodes that showcase the power of product marketing through real world case studies. And today, my friends, we are joined by product marketing genius Shirin Shahin, who is an award winning product marketing leader, consultant, and coach. Shirin is Boston ambassador for the Product Marketing Alliance and a mentor at Techstars as well as VentureLane. Leveraging her over 10 years of experience in product marketing, Shirin has helped clients including Revenue Base, Bitly, Patient Pop, WordPress VIP, WeGift, and many, many more. Shirin earned her BA in psychology from Boston University and her MBA from Boston College. While not at her desk, Shirin's passions include dancing, yoga, painting, reading, and spending quality time with friends and family. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Shirin Shahin. Shirin, it's an absolute honor. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Shireen, as promised to our audience, we'll talk about a situation from your experience. We'll use the ABC framework. So we'll talk about the antecedents, what were the prior challenges. We'll talk about the behaviors, what were some of the actions that you took. And we'll talk about the conclusion, how things played out. So with that, Shireen, pick a situation from your experience and tell us what were the antecedents, what were the prior challenges?
Sure. Yes. So with one of my previous clients, and so I run my own consultancy, as you shared in the intro. With one of my previous clients, they were moving from more of a founder-led sales initiative to hiring a sales team. So they were really looking to scale. They were probably around 20 or so employees at the time. So this was a very specific turning point for them. This may sound like it's a sales initiative, but there's actually a lot of product marketing that goes into this. Primarily, it's the need for more consistent positioning and messaging in place so that the sales team has this documentation to leverage on their sales calls, because to date, it's been the founder who's been on all of those sales calls. So in this moment, you really want to make sure you are empowering the sales team in the most effective way. And that's super critical because you don't want to risk any market confusion or losing credibility in the market if your sales team is speaking differently around your personas. They're speaking differently to each persona. They're not speaking accurately around your core value proposition in a consistent way across all of these interactions with their customers. So it's a really, really critical point to pay it close attention to.
Excellent. I think, Karina, a lot of our audience can
Mm-hmm.
really relate to this because many of them are probably working in small organizations, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a million things going on. You're running like a chicken with a head cut off. And product marketers, we're kind of the quarterbacks. We try to bring all the teams together,
Yeah.
whether it is sales, the general marketing, product, engineering, everybody. And you're right. When we don't sing off the same note, when sales is maybe sending one message while we do our research and we
Yeah.
say actually we should be targeting in them this way, that can be a real problem. Wonderful. So
Yes.
Shireen, we've talked about the antecedents, the challenges. Now let's talk about the behaviors. Tell us about some of the actions that you took here.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first place that we started with this client is actually working on a narrative document. So think of this like your company story. It really clarifies why you even exist in the market, what problem are you solving in that market, and for who, and then how are you really unique in doing this. This is that core foundation, and that really helps you move forward into working on your positioning and messaging work that ultimately dive deeper. So positioning really gets into who you are in the market, for who and why. I call it the who, what, why, as just my quick way of summarizing your positioning, but it's so much more than that, of course. We get into your key personas, your key value pillars, your core differentiators, and then specific pains you are solving for each of those personas. And then, so we did that exercise with the team. It was really interesting as part of that. is there has to be really great alignment on the team between sales, marketing, and product, and most importantly, the C level, which I'll come back to talk about. But then lastly, from the position narrative work, then we went to positioning, and then we worked on our messaging. Messaging gets pretty close to customer facing documents. I like to always say that product marketers are not copywriters, so we're not writing exact copy, but we create supporting messages that are consistent with the narrative and positioning work that we worked on, so that this is a reference for go-to-market teams going forward, so that a marketing person can then take that and leverage it for content, for a sales deck, for a one-pager, and so forth. So these were the foundational materials that we worked on for this client.
Yeah, I can only imagine how much of clarity this would have brought, right? Because you've got all this confusion and fog of war, people saying different things. Now you have this master document
Yeah.
that lays things out. So this is wonderful, Shireen. Now tell us about the conclusion. So you prepared this document. How did things play out with this situation?
Yeah, so of course, we got these documents completed, as you mentioned, but what was the most interesting in all of this, and I think the biggest win for this type of work, is getting the alignment across leadership. We actually uncovered in this process that the head of product was not necessarily aligned with the CEO and maybe the head of sales. And we had to, a little bit of a force function to get them all in a room into working sessions to discover real narrative and what is their real story and how are we going to talk about it, because it was actually not expected that there would be this much misalignment. But this was a good problem to have, because they really had the ability now to take a close look at all of this information and make sure they're all on the same page, which is, again, incredibly critical before you hire sales, before you hire a marketing team, is really to ensure that's in place. So that's my biggest proudest moment with this client, is helping them get to this point and create that alignment and create this documentation as a result of it.
Wow, absolutely fabulous. So you entered a situation where it sounds like it was almost like chaos. You added a method to the madness by creating these master documents with the messaging, positioning, all of that. And then that was used by the team. You then shared that with leadership and you identified some gaps, right? Maybe product was looking at it one way, leadership another way. And that's one of the other benefits of these documents, where it actually forces us to put things on paper and then find that actually, no, I look at it differently, and work through all of that, gain alignment. Wonderful story. Shireen, I think our audience can learn so many important lessons from the story. So thank you. I think this was really, really exciting. So with that, Shireen, if people wanted to learn more about you and find out what's next, where can people find out more?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I mean, LinkedIn is always great. I'm on there a lot, or my website. Feel free to go there as well. So I am ShirinShahin.com.
Fabulous, fabulous. So folks, definitely reach out to Shireen to get advice, especially if you're working at smaller organizations. She's probably gone through some of the challenges and solved some of these challenges that you're working through. And her website, again, that's iamShirinShahin.com. We'll include that in the show notes, so be sure to check that out as well. And with that, thank you, Shireen. And my friends, armed with that knowledge, let's make the magic happen.